This is a View from the Bridge official podcast of the Belfast Giants for kingdomofthegiants.com. Today's Tuesday, the 7th of November 2023. My name is Patrick Smith. The sport of ice hockey is one that we all hold dear. Season on season, we gather to watch side after side, player after player compete with our team's jersey on their backs. We shout, we scream, we support these lads who put their bodies on the line for our loyalties. But when something happens, something so tragic and unexpected, it transcends our own loyalties and brings us together as a community. Last Saturday in Sheffield, Adam Johnson, number 47 for the Nottingham Panthers, sadly passed away, and the shock reverberated right across the sporting world. Adam's career began in his hometown, Hibbing, Minnesota, and it spanned the US Hockey League, the NCAA and the AIHL before realising the dream of millions of players, and he reached the National Hockey League with the Pittsburgh Penguins. He would then touch the ice in Sweden and Germany before landing this season in Nottingham with the Panthers. At only 29 years old, Adam would play 12 games in black and gold, scoring 7 goals, 11 points, before his life was tragically cut all too short. Our love, of course, our prayers and heartfelt condolences go out to Adam's family, friends, teammates, and all who've been affected by what happened from Nottingham, from Sheffield, and beyond. This weekend past, the EIHL returned to action, where we all took a moment to reflect on Adam's life and to pay tribute. It won't have been easy for anyone, but one thing was very apparent in this show of strength amongst the hockey community, locally and worldwide: our pride in our teams, our pride in our players, and in our game. Because this didn't happen in the NHL, it didn't happen in the AHL, it wasn't in Germany or Sweden, it wasn't in Italy or France. Sadly, this tragedy happened in the EIHL. And the eyes of the hockey world, for better or worse, have been on our league, our fans, and our reactions. And what we witnessed this past weekend was a wonderful tribute, where together we remembered, and together we worked to return to the game that we love. It's been a really tough time these last few months. We've lost Alex Graham, we've lost Mike Hammond, and now Adam Johnson, who will always be remembered as part of Nottingham Panthers and as part of the Elite Ice Hockey League. And as we fans of this great league look to try to return to rinks and arenas across the EIHL, one of the best tributes we can pay is to continue to shout, to scream, and to support our teams.
Lafferty is in, rips his shot, stop with a rebound, Johnson, he scores! Get that puck, first NHL goal, Adam Johnson!
Thank you for taking the time to join us on this week's View from the Bridge, following one of the most heartbreaking weeks the sport has witnessed in this country, not least around the world. We are, as always, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and you can download us on Apple Podcasts and all the normal podcast providers. On this week's show, we'll continue to pay tribute to Adam, and the lads have a few words to say. With regards to the Belfast Giants, 2 defeats were followed by a badly needed victory in Manchester on Sunday night. We'll have a chat about that. Adam Keefe, Travis Brown, and head coach of the Cardiff Devils, Pete Russell, are our guests this week. And we'll discuss the nominees for Player of the Month. But it is worth remembering, as with any incident of this nature, investigations are still ongoing, and so many people are hurting from what went on. Rightly, the Elite League have urged caution surrounding the event, and we respect that. There will come a time for a full and frank discussion on the matter, but we're a little over a week since the event, and this is certainly not that time. Now is the time to remember Adam. Now is the time to pay tribute, and now is the time we work to move forward with a game that we really enjoy. Davy, Simon, and Gareth Martin, delighted to join us. Davy, I'll start with you. An incredibly emotional week, but what a real positive that we pull from it is last weekend and how we all came together to move forward.
Yeah, Paddy, I think I'll just before I start, very poignant words from you, very well put forward on behalf of the podcast. So thank you for that. I guess one way, and you know, we've had our little chats through the last 2 weeks, and one way that I kind of feel like I protect myself is being hard and just being hard to. That was the first time I've really felt, you know, that was hard to listen to you doing that. That was so really well done on behalf of the podcast. Listen, 29-year-old, you know, no age to lose your life. And as you've said, there'll be a time and a place to discuss all this. For now, I just want to echo sympathies and heartfelt sympathies and condolences to the Johnson family, his friends, his teammates, the fans of the Panthers and Steelers and beyond, the wider EIHL fan base. I know that a lot of people, from reading social media, there's a lot of people at the game, a lot of people have been affected, and you know, that'll take time for people to recover from that as well, and hopefully they can all reach out to people, and around the league will be tight enough knit, and there'll be people there to support you. So for now, I think for just to echo what you've said and pass on my condolences, and I'll leave it at that for now.
We've lost Gareth, but Simon, you know, you were there in the arena on Saturday night, and as I was in Manchester, and what was apparent was the coming together of so many fans and so many people to pay tribute following what was such a sad event.
Yeah, Paddy, just what Davey said. I mean, the way you put that opening was absolutely fantastic, and it's really poignant, and certainly put a bit of a lump in my throat. It's been horrendous, you know. You just see how small the hockey world is when something like this tragedy has happened. It's been really tough. I mean, I did the webcast on Saturday night against Guildford, and I'm not ashamed to say I genuinely had a lump in my throat when I don't know how many times you've had to go through what you wrote down in front of you there to start this podcast off. I did the same on Saturday night. I couldn't say it. I literally just had a lump in my throat, and I just went from the heart and thought what I'd obviously, you know, that what I should have said, and hopefully did okay.
Yeah, you did.
But
You did.
It's tough. It's really, really tough, especially being involved so close with our players. And you know, I have no idea what the teammates of Adam. I have no idea what the Sheffield players are going through. I have no idea what the people that are in that arena. But if it's anything like what I felt over the last couple of days, the last week or so, about having to, and unfortunately, I've watched the clip, and I don't want to go deep into the as I say, there's going to be a time and place to say this, but it's all my thoughts and all my love is going to Adam's family. I never met Adam, never got the opportunity to watch him. The one thing that I'm sure that his family are holding on to is that he achieved his dream of playing the NHL. You know, it's you get to play this game as a sport, as a job, as something that you just love doing, and he got to play that at the highest level. And as I say, my thoughts are going out to Adam's partner, Ryan, his mum and dad, his aunties, his family, all his teammates, and anybody affected by the tragedy itself.
Gareth, you were next to Simon on Saturday on commentary. You were there in the arena, and the tributes that went out, not just as we said, not just in Belfast, not just from people, so many people turning up at rinks right across the country, but right across the hockey world, people paying tribute. It just shows you how much of a shocking incident it was.
It really does, and it just shows how the hockey community around the world is one. We would have thought we were quite insignificant in the UK, in the whole hockey world, but everyone has focused on us, obviously for the wrong reason. But it just shows that it's reached out. People have contacted me from Australia. We've heard people speaking in the NHL, and I think the love and support that is coming to the Elite League, it's amazing. And you guys have said a lot of great words there. And just one thing I'd like to touch on is when I was doing comms with Simon in the SSE arena, the crowd, the respect. I've never seen so much respect. Normally when there's a minute's silence, you can't, you might hear a phone, you might hear someone cough. I did not hear one single thing. And we have great fans, and they should be commended for that. And then we went into the minute's applause, and everyone just give it their all. It was just from the quietest moment to then the elation of the game and trying to support one another, and let's be there for one another.
I think that's it, mate. It's the fact that what I've gained from this is that since everything's went on, the amount of people, I've reached out to friends who were there that night. I've reached out to friends who involved in the team. I think people have reached out and just want to talk and make sure that, because we have so many friends around the league. Yes, week in, week out. I'm as bad as anybody to be at other people's throats when they support an opposition team, because that's the crack of sport in this game. But when something of this magnitude and of this tragic magnitude happens, that's where a real community appears. That's when we all come together, and I felt that was something to be proud of from this week. Something that swelled great pride in the fact that our hockey community came together to support each other, because it's not been an easy week for many reasons. It's not been an easy week. But what I saw in Manchester and what I saw from following the game at home against Guildford is that players are ready to move forward. Now, Nottingham and Sheffield, it's going to take them longer. That's wholly understandable. But it seems that the league have come together, and we're looking to move forward. And how we recover from this is, the eyes of the hockey world are on us, but mostly it's how we pay tribute to Adam and how the teams use it to pay tribute to Adam by moving forward. With that, gentlemen, I think we'll return to Hockey Matters. One thing,
sorry,
Simon,
Pat,
go ahead.
Just one thing, yeah. I think we're all being critical of the EIHL over the last few years. Maybe not getting everything right. They've done an absolutely brilliant job in handling
Absolutely.
this. I thought the way they've done everything about it, and I think they need commended for that. I really do think they've done a fantastic job trying to get all. Well, I think it's going without saying, all the 10 clubs have shown their grief with regards to where the situation's led us. But Luke and Brooksy and Mike Hicks and all the owners as well, I think they need commended with this, because I think they've done a really, really good job with this.
Couldn't agree more, Matt. Could not agree more. I think it's a tribute to the league and a tribute to everybody involved in the league that that it has been handled impeccably. Right. It does seem trite to move on to Hockey Matters considering, but we want to move forward and we want to have a look. Now, there have been 2 defeats for the Belfast Giants, and we're going to just cover those very, very, very quickly, because the first one, I'll run through the statistics for the games with regards to the 2 defeats that took place. One was, of course, on that fateful night, and that was against the Dundee Stars. The Belfast Giants travelled to the Dundee Ice Arena and were beaten 6-3 by the Stars. Dundee Stars goals come from Harms, Garrigan, Valentini, Pouncey, and Dryden Dow, who scored 2, having been our guest on this show that very week. For the Giants, Johnny Curran, Jacob Friend, and Ben Lake scored the goals. Tyler Beskorowany, that's 27 shots against, 5 goals against. Kevin Carr, the other side, 34 shots against, 3 goals against. Toby Craig and Pavel Hallis were the referees. I'm actually also now going to just flip it forward and say that we also had the game on last Saturday night against the Guildford Flames, and we'll cover these just in one. And that the Guildford Flames travelled to Belfast Giants at the SSE Arena and took a 4-3 victory against us. Lewis Hook, Bachkov, Tate, and Hook with the game-winning goal on the power play for the Guildford Flames. On the other side, 2 from Mark Cooper in the first period, and Quinn Preston with the third. In regards to the goalkeepers, Tyler Beskorowany in goals, 12 shots against, 4 goals against. Eamon McAdam, the other side, 40 shots against, 3 goals against. Andy Dalton and Vitas Lukasevicius, I finally got that right, were the referees. Simon, I'll start with you on this one, because and you can take it as whatever way you want to do it across the 2 games. But personally, I don't think there are 2 games that the Belfast Giants should have lost.
I was talking to Adam about this morning, and Adam is really, really analytical with regards. He's really, really analytical with regards to where we are and what we do, and he looks at all the stats and Davey always keeps saying, I don't know if he looks at all the stuff that I put together. He genuinely does, but all the information that he had from the game against Guildford at the weekend, especially, he says analytically, it's been our best game of the season. And when you look back at the Dundee game that they're just showing the highlights for now, we dominated a lot of the play, just couldn't put the puck in the net. Kevin Carr played really well. I can't remember the shots. David probably have a better idea of how many shots we had on target that night. But, we just couldn't. We weren't ruthless enough. We had with glorious opportunities. And even, do you want me to talk about both games, Paddy, at the same time? Or
yeah, give it as you want to cover it, mate.
So, as I say, the Dundee game, we did enough to win the game. Yes, we gave up a couple of sloppy goals. And it's conceding 6 away to Dundee. And them being, I think at that stage, they're either 9th or 10th in the league. It's not ideal. You have to be winning those games. And I think that's one of those games that you look back on and going, hopefully that doesn't go back to bite us in the backside. We've had those earlier on in the season last year as well. And thankfully we turned that around. And then you go into this Saturday against Guildford. Get off to a bad start. Second shift, they get a goal. They go 2-0 up. We put it back to 2-2. Guildford just kept on. They wouldn't go away. They were sitting bottom of the table coming into that game. And you're sitting going, we talk about this last season when we made those couple of changes and brought new players in, and how much life that gave you. It worked exactly for them at the weekend as well. McAdam played really well. Make no mistake about it. But we did enough to absolutely win that game hands down. We genuinely did. I thought we controlled a lot of it, apart from the first 6 or 7 minutes when, we sort of seemed to be all over the place, really slow start. I was talking to Davey yesterday, and Davey said that I can't remember who it was told you, but you look at the 8 games at the weekend, 7 were won by away teams.
Yeah.
And I think it was Peter Russell that mentioned that.
It was Pete Russell in his interview. Yeah.
And coming into buildings that maybe were a little bit flat because of the circumstances from the week before. And the away teams capitalised on it. Make no mistake about it. 7 out of 8 wins away from home at the weekend. And then Guildford beat us on Saturday, go back home on Sunday and win on Sunday. So it's 2 games that hopefully, as I say, don't come back to bite us in the backside. It's been a 2 games of, as I said to Paddy, I said to Davey yesterday again, we're going to absolutely pump the life out of somebody again soon. I said this last year, and hopefully it's coming again soon. We will just go out one day and we're going to score 8-9 goals, and it's just going to click like that again. Unfortunately, at the weekend and the previous Saturday against Dundee, that wasn't the case.
Marty, the game against Guildford, I fully agree with this. I think the grade A chances were absolutely there. They just weren't being finished against Guildford.
Guildford were just collapsing. I was looking back again there this evening to the highlights, and the first 3 goals, Guildford have got Guildford have got four guys dropping into the slot area. Sorry, the 3 goals that the Giants scored, they had 4 guys in the slot area. Thankfully, Mark Cooper got the first 2. He was able to slip away from them. But every time the Giants came attacking, they just collapsed every time on McAdam, and this is just pointed out, McAdam had a great game, and it was just so hard to score against him. Also, what Guildford brought back to this game and what we seen last season was they just turned defense and offense straight away with that one-time pass, and boom, Ryan Tate's away with it up the wing, either taking a shot himself or feeding someone, getting the assist.
It's that speed as well, Davy. You saw that from Tate, and he comes bombing down that right-hand side, and we're caught on our heels.
I don't think there's any shame in being beat round the outside by Ryan Tate. One of their goals comes from a sort of wing drive, but like even strength, I think it was 32-9 shots, Giants Flames, even strength. We coughed a couple up on the penalty kill from memory on Saturday night. Listen, it was always going to be a difficult night to get going. Simon's already referenced the flatter building than usual, but there was enough done to win here. I think they were 6-4-4 through the 3 periods in terms of shots. You should really go and win that game. What were we? Give me 1 second there, mate. 74 shots, 43 shots on target. One big thing, they blocked 16 shots as well, 1.6 goals. They've saved themselves a couple of goals there in terms of throwing bodies down in front of McAdam as well. The box us out well. We perhaps were guilty. I think me and Simon had this chat yesterday as well. Just not letting it rip from the blue line, getting a bit of traffic in front there, causing chaos, just like that replay there, causing chaos, coming up with opportunities that way. Bit guilty of trying to overplay at times and trying to walk it past McAdam, and sometimes you just gotta get it on net and let those good things happen. We'll learn from that. Around November last year, we had a couple of wee wobbles. We'll go back to Dundee the night before. We'll talk about starting on time. Both games have conceded goals on first, second shift. Dundee, we've won the opening face-off. We've gone down. We've had a really great A chance at Cars. Had a wee poke check at. They've gone up the other end and scored straight away. Where for me, we're probably trying to make an offensive play 200 feet from their net. Tedesco probably has the man coming at the blue line, so the 2D are coming and the 2 forwards. And we've got 3 men below the red line, and 1 guy's just hovering out in front of Besco. Besco makes the first up save in the score. 30 seconds into the game, you're on your heels, and that's not the start you want. Yes, we got back into it. Dundee just kept coming, and unfortunately, and the empty net obviously rounding it out as well. But both games, and I know games aren't played on paper, so you can say statistics for this, statistics for that. Both games, there was more than enough work done on the ice. We just made a couple of tiny errors that we haven't been making over the sort of 12, 13 games, whatever it was, of a streak before that. So let's not call it a slump. We've had a couple of bad results that weren't bad performances for me. And you get a chance on Sunday then to go turn that round in Manchester.
Let's get the post game.
Been lost for words for most of the week. It's just a real tragic event, and really our entire team and the entire organization's thoughts are with Adam, his family, his fiance, the entire Nottingham organization, Sheffield, and everybody that was in attendance, and the medical group that attended the scene, and really it is a devastating time for hockey, and obviously mostly for those involved, and we just send our support and our love to them.
What's your thoughts on tonight's game?
Yeah, another one that got away from us. I thought I liked our game. I liked our energy. We thought we generated enough scoring chances to win that hockey game. A few that hit the crossbar, a few landed on the goal line, just weren't going in for us. And obviously we gave up a little too much on the back end, and ultimately probably special teams giving up 2 power play goals against and going 0 for on the power play, and me losing the coach's challenge as well. I know that these things cost us the game. So it is what it is right now. We're in one, and the only way out of it is to dig ourselves out of it with hard work, and there's no better place to do that tomorrow than going into Manchester's building. It's obviously a much smaller building, much different game. We're going to have to be direct, and we're going to have to work hard and play for each other, and that's what we need right now.
To Susan, to Davy, to Ryan, and the immediate family, it's with great regret and sympathy from the whole organisation, from myself, the Guildford Flames. Our hearts go out to you. Also, the Nottingham Panthers organisation, again, to the players, to the coaching staff, to the fans, Sheffield Steelers organisation, to all parties involved, again, coaching staff and fans. Such a sad event. And again, you know, from what I've seen from the reaction from hockey fans, communities around the world, has shown great support, and hopefully Adam's family can draw strength from that.
Coach, can we get your thoughts on the game tonight, please?
Very happy, obviously. I mean, to come in here and take the 2 points. I just thought tonight was a real solid 60-minute performance from the team. And, you know, I've been touching on a lot of interviews of late where I felt we've played good for certain periods of the game, and we haven't been able to put that full 60 in. But that was a great road performance tonight. And, you know, coming into this game last weekend in Glasgow, the penalty kill was terrible. We were 0% for 4. We worked on a few things differently this week and changed a few things up, and again the proof was in that, because I think you know, we shut them out on the PK tonight. So credit to the killers, but again, McAdam, you know, for me, your goalie has to be the best penalty killer, and he certainly was a part of that. But not just him, the guys that were killing as well. But no, really happy with a good team performance. But again, you know, I've touched on the goal scoring side of it. I don't think we've been scoring enough goals, and to come in here and score 4 goals. So yeah, we're trending in the right direction.
That was, of course, Adam Keefe and Paul Dixon. The highlights from the Stars and the Giants game are available on Star TV and Giants TV. Let's crack on quickly to Sunday night at the Planet Ice in Altrincham, where the Belfast Giants got back to winning ways with a 5-1 victory. Kieran Long and Travis Byrne, who's soon to join us with the opening 2 goals. Aaron Azaria and Quinn Preston with 2. 1 on the power play, or the 5 for the Giants. And Mitchell Martin with the goal for the Manchester Storm. Tyler Beskorowany, and that's for the Giants, 19 shots on, 1 goal against. Evan Wenger the other way, 37 and 5 goals against. Joe Sewell and Oliver Truswell were your referees. Says, do you want to take the lead on this?
I wasn't there, Paddy. What about
look, take the lead.
Having a chat with somebody with somebody who was there. Coming off the back of the defeat against Guildford the night before, we all know going into that little dingy barn that it's a tough place to go to. And Adam's commented on it a few times before, but so many guys who've never played there before and how tough it can be. What were your thoughts on how the boys performed?
You know what? And we said this on I said this on our WhatsApp on Saturday night. We always seem to struggle in our first game in Manchester. Year on year, I've had such bad memories of our first games in Manchester, because sometimes the state of the ice, the state of the play there is such a shock, and you're going up against guys who are more than capable on that ice, having trained on it week in, day out. But I thought we dominated this game, completely dominated this game. I thought we pushed them and pushed them and pushed them. We took most of our chances. Quinn Preston with 1 on his backside that put in the back of the net. To give credit to the Storm, they fought back, and you know, they're very good at shutting down in the zone. They're very good at putting sticks in and getting in the way. But as soon as we got any sort of space, we were finding ways through. Wenger comes in with a big reputation. I thought he was good. I thought there's maybe 1 or 2 that he maybe should have shut down a bit better. But one last point before I let Davy come in. I was able to take the family which is a rarity. But I've got a comment from my 6-year-old daughter, who wrote me a note of something she wanted me to say, which was, "It was really good. The teams played really well, and my favorite player was Kieran Long because I met his mummy." So, which she did. We were delighted to have Kieran Long's mother sat next to us. I don't know why she was delighted sat next to me. I'd had a few, but but yeah, like to come out of there with a 5-1 win, considering the amount of times we've come out of there, having been frustrated, was great.
Davey, the Storm are in good form. I mean, they beat the Cardiff Devils the night before. They were sitting third in the league. If they had got that result on Sunday night against Belfast, they would have went top of the league. So as tight as it's been over the last couple of games against Dundee and Guildford, it was a really good reaction from the Giants.
Yeah, listen, we've done the Dundee and Guildford analysis, and I've said that I felt both games good enough performances. Sometimes you don't get the result. I thought I actually a game of, I know this is a stupid thing, a game of 3 periods, 3 quite different periods. I know Paddy said domination from start to finish. I thought we really controlled the neutral zone and offensive zone in that first period. We just tilted the ice. We kept the puck in their end of the ice. We tired them out. We came up with the 2 goals. The first one, pretty active boards. I'm not sure whether Jacob Friend's shooting for the rebound or whether he's shooting for the near post and it works out that way. Longer standing for the empty net at the back post. And then the second one, Travis has thrown one in. The goalie's going to look back on that. You'll see the replay. He should save it. It's one of those. It's a little floated wrister from the blue line. Second period, they come out. They get a little bit. Yes, you're pointing there.
Oh, you do realise that Travis is in the background here, and he'll completely disagree with regards to floating one towards net.
All right, well,
we'll bring him in a minute.
You see, the water bottle doesn't pop 6 foot in the air. Let's put it that way. The goalie should have saved it, but it's one of those. It's in the back of the net, and I jumped as high as anybody else. Trust me. The second period, they definitely came out with a wee bit more jump, and it was a fairly even period in terms of opportunities. And you talk about that first time in their barn for a few guys. We don't get the puck deep at their blue line. I can't remember who it is. And it almost gives them a bit of an odd man, and they go 3-on-2 down. Can't remember who it is. Centre has to go to the puck and leaves a guy open at the back stick, makes it 2-1. But I think it's about 30 seconds later, maybe 1 or 2 shifts will go back down. Jacob Friend again drives that left wing, gets across. Aaron Azarian standing in the blue paint, drives home 3-1. And then that early goal in the third period, the fourth goal, it kills the game as a contest. It took all the wind. They came out hoping for a wee bit of comeback. We get that fourth goal, and it just takes the pressure off us. And then we obviously go on and score the 5th towards the end of the game. As good a performance on Sunday night as it was on Saturday, and they're the fine margins in hockey. I thought we deserved the win on Saturday night. We certainly deserved the win on Sunday night.
Let's get Manchester's post game, and we can keep rocking forward.
Yeah. Again, a nice tribute before the game there. It was an emotional weekend all around the league, all around the hockey world. Speaking of the game there, yeah, all the battles that we won last night, I thought we were very good last night. We came out with a lot of the 50-50 battles, the one-on-one battles, and that wasn't the case tonight. Yeah, you have games where you're fighting the puck, and the message after was you have to find a way to stick to our game plan for the full 60, whether you're crispy or it's a long season. You're going to have games where you're not at your best, and I thought when things didn't go our way, they got a couple lucky bounces and some calls that went against us, but that's when you got to stick with the game plan and stick with the program. And I thought when that happened tonight, we went the other way and kind of got off script, and against a great team like Belfast, that's going to cost you, and it did tonight.
Yeah, I thought we were very good tonight. Just obviously a different building to play in, our first time here, and we do have a lot of new players to the league, so slight concern about how we would handle this building, and I thought our guys did a great job. Very tight all night defensively, didn't really give Manchester much at all, and I thought when we did give up that one, it was obviously we got a very big response there. I think 2 shifts later to kind of take any momentum back. So I thought everybody to a man was great tonight, and it's a great bounce back win after the last couple games.
Highlights from that game are available. Highlights on that game available on YouTube, or will be available on YouTube from Storm TV. We're going to keep moving forward. Marty, we're going to let you go. Thanks very much for joining us tonight. And what is a difficult week, we do appreciate you coming on and having your say. And keep up the good work with keeping your man up to speed on Giants TV.
Yeah, we get the banter going again. Get a few more laughs, but no, I do enjoy it, and yeah, thank you very much. I do appreciate you just asking me on this evening, and just let me say a few words. So I'll catch you guys soon. Appreciate it.
Thanks, mate.
Marty. Cheers.
Big thanks to Gareth Martin. We are cracking ahead because we have some people waiting in the wings patiently. And the first up, the fan agenda. Delighted to be joined. He scored a goal. He scored a goal, but Davy didn't rate it that much. Travis Brown. Not Travis Brown, that's Adam Keefe. Travis Brown, how are you?
That's...
How's it going, guys?
That's savage.
You okay?
Davey, how's it going?
Great, thanks very much. Thanks, Paddy, for throwing me under the bus there, mate.
Listen, mate, not mine. They were your words, not mine. Travis, let's start. Let's start with
goal's a goal.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Travis, let's briefly start with the weekend and coming into the weekend. Obviously, a really difficult, really emotional weekend. You guys had to be ready to come out. How difficult was it to be ready to come out to play?
Yeah, it was tough, most definitely. I think a lot of us are still processing it. And just feel so much for Adam, his family, Nottingham Panthers, and the Sheffield Steelers, and everyone who was involved. So I think a lot of guys are still processing and still going through, but one way we deal with that is playing the game and being together and being a team. So I think playing this weekend kind of just brought us together and kind of got our minds off things.
What was your reflection on the weekend itself and how we played?
I thought there's two good games. I think Guildford, we played well. We got back to kind of playing our style of game and dictating the pace. We just didn't get the outcome. And then in Manchester, obviously an interesting rink to play in. It was my first time being in Manch, but you know what? I thought we kept it simple, tried moving pucks quick, and letting our forwards do the work. And you know what? They did just that. So all in all, a pretty solid weekend.
It's quite sorry, Davey, just to go in there. It's quite the experience to play in Manchester. It's quite the rink. Yeah,
most definitely. It was. I didn't really know what to expect. Guys were talking about it. Then I walked in and just said, "Let's just see how this goes," and it ended up working out in our favor.
Travis, you've played a good bit of this season now with Davy Phillips. Quite a special guy.
He's a wonderful human, that guy. I love Davey. Yeah, that's my boy right there. We've been able to build some good chemistry on and off the ice, and I really enjoy playing with him and having him on our team.
Yeah, and as great as Davey is as a GB international and someone who's been around this league for a long time, what he also brings in the locker room, he keeps things loose. He's a bit of a joker. He's a great guy to be around.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's always a laugh with Davey. He's always entertaining the boys, and he's always keeping us guessing. So it's never a dull moment in our dressing room for sure.
And then let's kind of go back before we talk about Elite League stuff. That little CHL foray you had, the 3 away games, the 3 home stand where we won the home 3 games. You know, must be pretty proud of how we've went in the CHL this year.
Yeah, most definitely. I think with the CHL, it kind of made us gel a lot quicker because we came in to camp, had a couple weeks of camp, and then we were right into some competitive hockey, playing against some top teams, especially those Finnish teams, and then just sorting it out, getting used to each other, and then against our last 3 games, I think being able to build that confidence and work together and see the systems falling into place, it really helped us a lot. It was a great experience.
You're on mute, sis. That's classic.
Go ahead, Kitchen.
Travis, you've played in Denmark the last couple of years. What's your view on the standard in Denmark and the standard in the UK? Is it a similar standard? What's your view?
I think both leagues are really solid. Different styles of game for sure. I think here's a little more physical. Denmark, it's really well. Everyone's very good skaters. Everyone can kind of fly around. You can kind of see Aalborg Pirates competing in Champions League. They're always dominant in Denmark. But when it comes to comparing the two leagues, I'd say, yeah, they're a little different, but I'd say a very similar standard of types of players, and also more North Americans here. So it's a little different, a little more physical. But I think there's most definitely some similarities to the leagues.
Davey just touched on the CHL. Now we've got the EIHL up and running. We have a big game this weekend against the Cardiff Devils. You faced them in pre-season, lost both games, went to Cardiff, ended up getting a great result in Cardiff. What sort of challenge are you expecting this weekend?
They're a good team. They're a very good team. They're solid front back in the net. So I think we just have to come with our A game. We know what they're going to bring. We know what we're going to bring. I think it's just going to be a good hockey game, and hopefully we get the better of them.
We've played quite a few. The thing with coming in join the Belfast Giants is, and traveling around, you obviously see that the great support we have from quite right around the Elite League. What's been your impression of Belfast as a city since you've been there?
I love Belfast. It's been amazing since day one. I've never had, in Denmark we had great fans, but here in Belfast, the passion, the support, the facilities, and just the city. People, even if they don't know you play hockey, but they know you're from out of town just based off of accent, everyone's very willing to help. Everyone's extremely friendly. It's been, I have no bad things to say.
Based off of accent, do they go, oh yeah, you're from Manitoba? Is that what they go for? Just go straight for it, do they? That sounds like a Winnipeg accent to me.
Yeah, exactly. No, mostly just a Canadian guess, but I don't know how many people know about Winnipeg over here. So,
Travis, the setup of the league here and the cup, obviously, with trying to win your 6 games in the Challenge Cup to maintain seeding and not being able to mail a game in September, you've got to, every league game, 2 points is a massive prize, because the league here is kind of like the trophy to win because of the shortened playoffs, though the playoffs is great to win, it has to be said. Is that something that you're getting used to, something that you came as a bit of a surprise to you in the summer when Adam's explaining just how important September, October is?
Yeah, I didn't really think about it until I first got here. And then going through training camp, going through our preseason games, and even the intensity behind our preseason games. And then when the season was getting going, we were kind of at the point after a couple CHL games that it was just like, now every time I go to the rink, it's not like you can't take a day off. Every game matters. Every point matters. So I think we feel that and understand that as a group. But it most definitely took a couple games to get in to be like, okay, we can wait till playoffs or a push. No, every game matters, and most definitely understanding that now.
And like you get the step out in the ice there, it might have been the end of August. Cardiff have been big rivals of ours over a decade, but especially over the last 4 or 5 years. There's no such thing as an exhibition game. Like the two exhibition games were almost played at a playoff pace.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think game 1 against Cardiff at home, I had a hit and a fight, and it was preseason. And I don't remember the last time I fought. Maybe five years ago. It wasn't much of a fight. I actually got beat up, but just I wasn't even expecting it. I forgot I wasn't in Denmark anymore, and I think that just kind of woke me up, and I was like, okay, you got to be ready every night, even preseason.
Travis, if I'm right in saying you made a bit of a reel or a vlog when you're on the North Coast tour. Sorry, when are we going to see that?
I don't think we're going to see that. I don't think we're going to see that.
Have you the Bridge exclusive?
Yeah, I still got to finish some editing and fix the sound, but I got some homework to do still. So it might be, we'll see. Hopefully I can get it done by Christmas.
And you just say about homework. How's your schooling going for you as well?
Schooling's going great. It's nice to kind of get your mind off hockey and challenge your brain in a different way. It's me and Charlie Curdy going to the university, so it's nice to have him around, showing me the ropes, because it's been a bit since I've been to school.
We're going to let you finish up by defending your goal. Here we go. Let's have a look.
Yeah, let's see this. Well, that's just a good shot. It's well placed.
No argument.
Water bottle moved, did we?
Sorry?
The water bottle did move.
Yeah, again. So it comes back.
Yeah, I saw some movement.
Right, hang on.
Not a lot, though. Not a lot.
Hang on here. Where's? Hang on. No, just let that roll, Paddy. I get my pause button here. Here, we'll find it right.
Water bottle doesn't move, mate.
Yeah, it moved a little
For
bit.
anybody listening on the audio podcast,
I'll defend. He's just waited. He's just got a wee fly screen there, and does it go this way? I don't know how to get this button to work. Like, goalie, it's in my glove. Oh no, top bins.
That's a great shot.
There's no such thing in hockey as a bad goal for the Belfast Giants.
Yeah,
no such thing.
It's not about how hard it is, anyways. It's about the release, anyways.
That's it.
Yeah.
I will confess I didn't see the goal. I think my daughter had said something at that moment. I turned away, and I had friends who were sitting in front of me who were at their first hockey game, and the fellow who had brought along my friend Dan turned around and says, "Did you see that goal?" I went, "No." He says, "He shot from his own half." Shoot from his own half.
That's pretty close in that rink.
Very close. Listen, Travis, we really appreciate you coming and joining us, and I really enjoyed having you on, and hopefully you'll come and join us again sometime.
Most definitely. Really appreciate it, guys. Take care. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Travis. Cheers.
Big thanks to Travis Barrett for coming in and joining us here on A View from the Bridge. And we continue. Next up, well, it's been a while since he's been on. It's just right that he comes on this week. We're delighted to be joined by the head coach of the Belfast Giants, Adam Keefe. How are you doing, bud? First question is inevitable. Given the events of this week, how difficult was it to pick the team up to get onto the ice come Saturday?
Yeah, in particular, early on in the week, obviously everybody was pretty shook by everything and shocked. I think everybody probably in the hockey world, especially players that have to play the game, but I thought as the week went on and guys got back together, they could forget about their fears a little bit, and I thought as the week went on there, we kind of got back to just playing and doing what we know. And I was a little concerned going into the weekend and unsure of how both teams would play. I thought our group, they just got back to it on the weekend, and I thought we were good.
The guys respond. Okay, take the defeat was the defeat. We said earlier on, against Guildford, we said earlier on this game, when you look at that game, 9 times, 199 times out of 100, we win that game. The amount of pressure that was put on Guildford but the fact that the guys seemed to pick themselves up really well.
Yeah, definitely after the Dundee loss, I thought we had our opportunities to beat Dundee if we had scored a little more on our chances. But I thought in that game in particular, I just thought Dundee was pretty desperate, and we weren't as desperate for that win. And sometimes when that happens, I guess the team that wants a little more wins. And that one was frustrating and unfortunate. But I thought the Guildford game was a completely different story. I think, like you said, there 9 times out of 10 we're winning that hockey game. And I have to take a little bit of accountability there with the bad coaches challenge, and potentially cost us a point. So, but overall, I thought that the players were very good at home there and did more than enough to win that game. Didn't get it done. And the response the next night was perfect. Going into a tough building in Manchester, and I thought that they were very good from start to finish and deserved those 2 points.
Coach, is that something that's of benefit of the games coming so thick and fast? You don't get to dwell on, I guess, Dundee was put on the back shelf analysis of because of all the events that happened. Saturday night's result, we had to go again on Sunday so quickly. Like we analysed Dundee and Guildford earlier in the piece. Probably games we'll look back on, should have won them. To go into Manchester then and put in an equally, I felt Manchester was equally as strong performance as Saturday. I think that we should really have had a 4-point weekend.
Sorry, my computer or my printer here is going a little squirrely. Yeah, obviously we had to move past Dundee pretty quickly. But yeah, to answer your question, in ice hockey or hockey, as North Americans like to call it, the beauty is you get to go again right away and correct what you think. We obviously thought we deserved more against Guildford. You get to go the next night and correct it right away and end the weekend on a high and get back to winning ways. And obviously in this league, you cannot let a loss turn into 2, 3, 4 in a row. Otherwise, you find yourself in a big hole. And now we need to look forward here. Obviously, we have a big weekend coming up against Cardiff, who is very good, as we've seen before. And then we get Guildford again right away. So, right now, this last couple of days was about some rest and getting recovered and refreshed. And, the next 3 days are about a big push here to make sure that the players are ready for the moment there on Saturday.
I think you've been really pleased with, especially our first 20 minutes in Manchester. A lot of the guys' first experience of the storm shelter there, and that first 20 minutes really controlled the game.
Yeah, I think that we're just simple. Right? A lot of times players try to go in there and make sexy plays, and it's not a whole lot of room in there to do those things, and you end up forcing things and causing turnovers, and in that building, a turnover can turn into a 2-on-1 or a breakaway pretty quickly. I thought, like I said, for the most part there, we were very good defensively, and that's frustrating to play against. So, that's a credit to the guys bouncing back and playing in that environment and controlling the hockey game. That's one of the areas that we really try and stress to the guys is we want to control as many games as possible so we take on less stress throughout a long marathon of a season. If we're taking on stress every weekend, it's going to be a heck of a long season. So, certainly Sunday was as close to a stress-free game as you can get.
I know we've got your good friend Peter Russell sitting in the background. Should we start chirping him now and then see if he hangs up, or will we bring him in?
You can do as you please.
Pally, what do you want to do?
Let's bring him in. Delighted also to be joined by the head coach of the Cardiff Devils, a man who knows what it's like to train in Dundonald. Peter Russell, how are you?
I'm a lot better now. I see Adam dressed down for this tonight.
Turn your phone around 90 degrees.
How'd you do that?
Well, Peaky Blinders here.
That's how you do it there. Well done.
He needs Singer there to work his phone for him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's not here. I'm actually back at my half-family home just now in Swindon, so it's like I'm on my own. My wife can't show me how to work this, so
Well, that was going to be one of my first questions. Actually, Pete, is the fact that obviously you've come back after a number of seasons in Germany with Augsburg, Ravensburg, Freiburg, all the bergs except for Hamburg. You probably get a few more bergs in there. But you've got, and then the opportunity came to come back and coach in Cardiff, which isn't too far from your family home in Swindon. I guess that was an easy decision to make, the return to that setup in Cardiff.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, and personally and hockey-wise, and I think I actually spoke to Adam quite a lot about it at the time. I think for me it was the right time. Germany was awesome. I grew a lot in Germany and it helped me a lot, and I think it was a great experience. And then I guess to come back, be that close to home, you can't really give that chance up much. That's my point. That in Cardiff, like Todd Kelman's a great guy to work for as well. So I've enjoyed it so far.
I don't think he's watching. You don't have to lie about it.
No, I quite like him. He seems, no, he's been awesome. Like, they're really supportive, and I think we have a good team. I think we're still in the process of developing just now, and I think, it's just a bit being patient. And I think you got to trust the process, and that's what we're doing on and off the ice just now.
Pete, I don't know how much we can talk about Saturday's game now with two coaches in the room, but don't know if you heard Travis Brown on there talking about the two exhibition games played at playoff pace. You'll be expecting more of the same on Saturday night.
Yeah, we've played 3 games now, and they've all been good games. And I think each night could have went either way. To be honest, it's a game of hockey. I was listening to Adam talking about Saturday's game. They played really well, and they didn't get the result. And probably a little bit when we were having a beer after the game in Cardiff, I was feeling that way a little bit. But then when I look it back, you got to just play the game as it's coming, and you got to score goals at the right time. And you guys are a hard team to play against. They've been 3 great games so far, so I hope there's another good one in Saturday night.
Adam, has it got? I know he was coaching the Milton Keynes a few years ago and went to Glasgow and then went away to Germany and stuff. But obviously, you've got the better of him over the last couple of years, and as I know, I've known Pete a long time. It's all about being competitive. This weekend, I'd love to get into a roast battle here between the two of you. I know we can't, but I'd love to. What sort of challenge? I know you're going to expect the same sort of challenge this weekend because Cardiff have been our main competitor over the last few years, if we're being honest. And I'm sure it's no different this weekend.
Yeah, no, I expect a playoff style game. I think that every game against Sheffield and Cardiff and anybody that's up there at the top, Manchester as well, we expected them to be very good. And you approach those games like they're going to be playoff games. And, certainly Cardiff over the last, as you've spoken, 5 years or so have been one of our main rivals in terms of just trophies, right? And I expect this year to be the exact same. We're going from a team that we played in the playoff final last year, and then now they've added Pete, and obviously I'm pretty close with Pete and I'm aware of how good a coach he is and the structure that he'll bring to Cardiff. So it makes it even more challenging for us. But the main hurdle for ourselves is to make sure we're the best team that we can be on Saturday. That's what this week's about. Is we want to be focused, to be ready, and then we'll just see where the game ends up. But it's certainly going to be a good game of hockey for sure.
I'm going to open it up, gentlemen. I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask each other one question each. I'm going to start with Pete. Is there anything you'd like to ask Adam Keefe while he's on a view from the bridge?
Oh, no. There's loads I'd love to ask him.
we're all friends here, mate. We're all friends here. It's an open forum.
Some of them are not for the public there, Davey.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I think, I don't know, maybe something like, how do you feel coaching in a national team is, I guess it's a good question. How do you feel coaching in a national team has helped you as a coach, Adam?
Well, we'll go back to, I guess, when Pete was in, Pete came in with MK, obviously, new team, new coach in the league. And I thought that's great for the league to bring in a new team and have new coaches, and certainly a Scottish coach coming in. And, obviously we met a few times, and when I got the call about joining the national team, I was pretty excited about it. An opportunity for me to take a step back as an assist, or from a head coach to an assistant coach, and watch and learn and get to work alongside Pete and Corey Nielsen, and and then most recently there, Ewan King. But just to learn, and I thought that that is the main thing that I took from it. I learned a lot, just from sitting back and watching Pete do his thing, and speaking with both him and Corey, and ultimately that's what coaching is stealing from each other and watching and learning and getting experience. And it was an opportunity for me to get some real experience and then to get behind the scenes of the GB national team and to see why they're successful is because they're very passionate about playing for their country. And you could see that in the play. And I think still to this day, probably my favorite tournament, even though we've been at the top level, is definitely the one in Hungary to get to the top level. And I thought that part of my role there was mainly video. And I mean, those guys, I said it to some of my own teams here, those guys blocked about 150 shots that tournament that, could have made it to, if they weren't blocking those shots, that they're not getting through to the top level. So, a lot of those things that I took from that tournament and the tournaments that followed. And but ultimately it's about experience. And I'm very fortunate that Pete asked me to come on board, and it was a fun ride for sure.
Coach, just before you get to ask your question back the opposite way, if I can ask Pete there, Adam's referenced kind of saying that he's just there, he's soaking stuff up, bit of a sponge, wants to learn, wants to get ideas. Is it a bit of Adam's ideas go into the bowl as well, and you're taking out some stuff that Keefer's bringing as well?
Yeah, I think everybody adds something. I think that everybody has to be weird and different in their own way in a coaching team, and he's certainly pretty weird. I think you know that. So he's got some good ideas, man. Like it's same as Corey Nielsen and Chuck Webber now, and Ewan King. Everybody's got ideas, and it's just a matter of, I guess it lays on the head coach's plate a little bit to decide what goes. Do you know what I mean? And that's. But I think, when you've got a coaching team around you with a lot of bodies, the national team's a breeze when you go away. There's a lot of good minds. It's a lot easier than day-to-day hockey because you get so many people around you, and you just got to feel it the right way, what you're going to pick each day, and the right players after talking about it, and just kind of make a decision. I guess that's just, I guess that's why we're in it. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the biggest part of hockey when you're playing coach or, even somebody doing a job like Taff and Muds. Everybody's got decisions to make, and you want to just make the best decision for the team on that day. I think that's the most important thing.
Sorry, Paddy, before you go there, how hard is it then, in comparison to having to leave somebody out of a regular Elite League game season, as to leaving someone out of a big international game, especially at the World Championships or something? There's obviously been, high profile ones in the past that have, had to be made. It's a big, tough decision.
Yeah, they're the worst decisions. They're the worst decisions daily as well. But when you go to those tournaments, you kind of, people for a long time, and it's not personal. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you're making decisions for different reasons for the length of the tournament, and as coaches, I don't agree. It's not an easy thing, but you've got to make those decisions so the outcome at the end is the right outcome, and the best outcome you can get. And more often than not, the outcome's been good. Do you know what I mean? And that's a good thing for everybody, for the players, the team, the management, and everybody that's travelled to go there in the country. And I think that's the most important thing. I think the most important thing, Adam Keefe or Pete Russell or Corey Nielsen, any players, no bigger than the outcome. The most important thing is we try and get the right outcome every time. I think that's the most important thing.
Before we let Adam go, he gets to have his question now.
Jesus. My wife's in the background, so behave.
Tread carefully.
Are we going with bounds or wall?
Yeah, I like it.
Good one. Good one.
Really good. I don't honestly.
I like that. You went straight. Pete's question was very existential, and you went straight for it.
I thought mine was a nice talkative point. We could open up.
I'm just joking.
That guys, but I think that whatever goalie we play is going to be good for us. Our goalies, Bounds has been really back to being Ben Bounds again this season, and I think it's great for the national team. I think it's great for the Cardiff Devils, and I think it's great for Boundsy. He's been buoyant. He knows how we play, and he's good in those areas. He knows where the shots are coming from most of the time. And then we bring a new guy in, and he's good. There's no doubt in it. He's calm, and he looks like he's a good goalie. So we are very fortunate to have 2 goalies. So whoever starts on Friday or Saturday, I'm sure will do a good job for us and make it hopefully difficult for the opponent to get the puck into the net. But I think it's more than the goalie. I just think we have to continue to play good defense as a team. And, there's a lot of little components in front of that. So, no, I can't answer that question. I think whoever goes in, I'll trust them 100%, and the team will as well.
Happy with that, Keefe?
Yeah, very happy.
Listen, Adam, appreciate you joining us. We're going to spend a couple more minutes with Pete. We appreciate you joining us, and good luck this weekend.
So we can talk about behind your back, Adam.
All right, cheerio, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, Adam.
Big thanks to Adam Keefe for joining us. Pete, stick with you. Thanks for joining us. This weekend past was a bit of a mixed barrel. Manchester go into yours. You said in your own post game, things were a bit flat. For obvious reasons. The crowd were a bit flat for obvious reasons. You struggle, but then you go back to your old club in Glasgow and you give them a shellacking and shut them out. So you must have been delighted the way your team picked themselves up when you threw in the buses up there as well.
I know, but that's the game of hockey. Again, Keith was talking about Saturday night, and sometimes that happens. You play really well and you don't get anything. Sometimes you play poorly and things work. You get a bit of luck. And I just think Saturday night was a funny night, but I don't think we were really ready to play. And I don't think they played a really good road game. I don't want to disrespect them. That's terrible because the games have been tight against them, and they're pretty. If you don't do the little things, it's tough against them. But I just didn't feel there was something missing in the arena, and it was quiet. And I really think the one thing that I learned at this weekend, outside winning and losing, was if you're a hockey player, I don't think hockey players are scared to play just now. But I think the first player to make the big hit is a bit concerned about it. The first player to fight again, is concerned about it. And I think that's the hardest thing for a hockey player right now. And I think we kind of played that way a little bit. But I think Sunday night, I keep talking about the process. I felt Sunday night was the first night we really looked like we're taking a step in the process. We were connected everywhere. We had high-end speed in the rush. With 5 guys in the rush. We were really, really good on Sunday night. In fact, I thought for the first 25 minutes we were unplayable, to be honest.
Hey, obviously 3 years and 3 or 4 years in Germany. And I know you were keeping an eye on the Elite League, not just because of GB, but you were on our webcast often enough sending me messages telling me to stick words into different webcasts and what have you. But how have you found the standard now compared to what the last time you were coaching in the UK?
I think the league was really good the last year I was here. I think that was when Cardiff was still pretty stacked. Belfast were building their way up. I can't remember who was in the Belfast team that year. I think it was Conley and everybody, wasn't it, that year?
Yeah. Conley and Sebastian, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. No, it wasn't, because I had Conley in Glasgow, actually. It was a year after that. That was a year you really came together. And I think Sheffield had got better a lot, was just transition year after. But I think now, I think the top teams are really good in this league right now. I think Belfast are always good. Good depth, and you got great goalie and great backup, and then Sheffield look super stacked. They've recruited well, and I guess everybody says they always do, but I think they've got a really good team. I think their D's good. They've got a really good goalie, and their forwards are really deep. And I think we've got a good team, and I think Nottingham look fast. And you can go through the whole league. Guildford look like they've came to life a little bit now, and Dundee, is always a problem team for Belfast and Cardiff. I seem to think when all the away games in there that are tight games. I think the league got deeper, and I think there's a lot of maybe players that would have stayed in Europe before are starting to come to the UK again. They're leaving Europe to come here, or maybe missing Europe as well to come here. So I think that's a really good thing, because I think the league is pretty tough. I don't think there's any easy nights. I think, I keep going back to Saturday night when you played really well and you don't work it out. I think 3 years ago in a game like that, you wouldn't just win it at the end of it. Do you know what I mean? I just think the league's changed a little bit, maybe a bit longer than that, actually. Not 3 years ago, probably the first year I went away. I think the league was the bottom teams were the bottom teams. I don't think there was any. I think you had easy nights. I don't think there's many easy nights now.
Do you think there's anything? Sorry, do you think there's anything there, Pete, with the the new coaches that have came in, obviously our good friend Tom and Fife and like Jason and Glasgow, bringing new ideas in?
Yeah, for sure. But I think there's always been pretty good coaching. Like, if you think the last year, like when I was in Glasgow, like Lord was in Cardiff, Keefe was in Belfast. The year before, Nielsen was still there. You know, like Paul Thompson was in the league still. You know, if you think about it, Danny Stewart was always there. Like Digger was in Guildford. But I think there's different ideas. I think maybe the style of the league's a little bit different. I think if you change like the coaches you talked about, I've been in Europe working for a long time, so it's a little bit different game of hockey. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of pace involved in the game. Do you know? And I think, like for me, I changed not exactly how I coach, but I learned some things about a different way of playing sometimes and trying to get a lot of pace into the game. Do you know? And we're trying to really be dangerous off the rush. And it's like before I would never really have thought about a lot of that stuff. Do you know? And I think that side of the game, I see some teams playing a lot different. Like, you know, everybody used to talk last year about how fast Guildford were. Do you know? And they were good to watch. Guildford were great to watch. Do you know? I mean, they were. I thought, you know, if you didn't get Besco in last year, maybe they would have won it. Do you know what I mean? Like Besco was like a game changer. Like I think Besco's the best player in the league. Do you know what I mean? Like that's my opinion. I think he's that good. I think, you know, I'm not bumming him up, but Champions League goalie of the tournament at the start there. That's great for the league that we have people like that in it. But that Guildford team were fast, and the thing that I noticed this year is there's a lot of teams with that pace in it, if that makes sense. There's a lot of teams have caught on to that they have to be faster. And I think the league's faster, do you know, and like I'm enjoying the league because I was only in it like the 1 year in Milton Keynes, and then I was in Glasgow, and it was really, you know, Milton Keynes was a great experience. It was a new team, and then Glasgow was awesome. We had a really good year. And then, you know, to come back, it's like kind of fresh for me. Do you know what I mean? I quite enjoy it.
Pete, you look back the whole way when you started coaching back in there, you've been through, people forget you were in Cardiff doing junior development there for a couple of years as well. You were in Swindon, Sly, O'Hannigan. You know, you've served your time in the lower leagues. You've made your way up. Obviously, you coached 3 or 4 years in Germany as well. Is there a year that you look back and look? I mean, I know you're still only in your 40s. Yeah, you are, aren't you? Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm still in my 40s.
But when you look back at of what your coaching journey's taken you so far, is there a favorite year? Is there? Adam just touched on the tournament there for GB, and when you got to the top pool from the Hungary tournament. I was in Hungary. It was just absolutely incredible. But is there something that you look back and go, that's the pinnacle I've had so far?
Yeah, I think like I've been really lucky. Do you know what I mean? Like really lucky was good team success with different situations, like the national team, and then in Germany as well. And Glasgow, I thought we were pretty good. But I think when I'd coached in EPL before, I'd won a few things. Like we'd won the playoffs and stuff. But I think when I went back to Okanagan, that was the best thing I ever did. Like to go back the way, just to go. I wasn't enjoying coaching, and I wasn't really, I didn't really know what I was. And I think going back again for 2-3 years and running that program, I think it just made me realize I'll just play hockey how I want. There's none of this, you have to win stuff. Do you know what I mean? There was none of that. So I think that made me a better coach. I think it made me really realize that if you just have the patience and you teach enough, and you can play your way if you want. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's really helped me improve as I went along. And I really believe that. I think that was a massive step. And then probably after that, I mean, national team's done loads for me at every level. Like I've coached every single level, and I'm very fortunate all the way through. But the national team means I love it. Do you know what I mean? It's been amazing for me. But I think the Milton Keynes situation was good to get back in. I went to work for Planet Ice and going there, and then it just kind of took off then. And I wasn't even thinking about that at the time. I've never really been never really been a big heady person or a real goal setter. I guess when I played when I was younger, sis, I was like I had good talent and I just couldn't behave. Do you know what I mean? That was the problem. I just would go for a beer and stupid stuff and ruined it all, you know. And so I guess that was another drive. And probably I've said it before. Kate made a big difference to me. Do you know what I mean? She made me behave, and I think if I didn't have that, so probably those things. And then it just kind of went. I never had any goals. Like, somebody asked me, did you always want to go to Germany? Do you want to go to DL? Did you, like, I always wanted to coach in a top league in this country. That was my only aim. And like, kind of went to that, and that worked. And then I guess if you just work hard and don't really think too much about the next thing, it just comes to you a little bit. Usually if you work hard and you get the bounce. And I think that's how I've lived my life. And I think you should always do that. As long as you work hard and you're honest, I think good things can happen for you in the right situation. And I think that's all I've tried to do all the time. You know, I love the question about GB, whoever asked that. Like, that's a brilliant question, because there's so many times over this past like 6-7 years you've had to make the decisions, you know, and they're not fun decisions to make. Do you know what, upset people? But, you know, as coaches, it's a tough thing. And I think as I've got older, I've grew to learn that you have to make decisions that you think are right for the team. Do you know what I mean? And you can't panic in those situations and just try to keep people happy all the time. It's not about that. You've got to do it respectfully. But I think I've grown through that path. Do you know what I mean? And it's still, I don't make decisions and feel, well, I don't care. You always care. Do you know what I mean? Like, you do. And it's like, but I think just the journey I went on, and I don't think it stops yet. Like, you know, Keefe is the benchmark. Do you know what I mean? Like, Belfast are the benchmark. Everybody's, for me, that's who we're pushing it. Do you know what I mean? To try and get close to, and it's, I think you always want to do that. Do you know what I mean? And that's where we want to be. And however long that takes, it's a good goal. Do you know what I mean? It's a good chase to go after it. And I think it's the same thing. It's not just going, we want to win 4 trophies. It's never like that. It's just, let's try and get as close as we can and see what it takes us in the process. And I just think, hopefully, the mentality I've kind of learned to be patient and keep sticking at what I believe in, and we'll kind of work in this country, because I'd love to win in my own country. I think that'd be so cool. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, people say I won in Germany. Yeah, but I want to win in my own country. Do you know what I mean? As a British coach in the British League, I think that'd be so cool. I think that'd be really cool if that could happen at some point.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's not this year.
Pete, listen, we really appreciate your time. It's been absolutely fantastic. I want to wrap with 2 questions about two very different people. But first of all, you had 9 games for the Castlereagh Knights with a goal against average of 8.45. This man,
some of the games though, and that says
it was really tough.
That's what it says. But my question is, this fella next to you, Simon Kitchen, what was he like to play against?
Mental.
He was like right. Was honestly, he was always a wee bit fat, right? But he was talented. So this is the truth. So my mum and dad used to own a bed and breakfast. So I met Sid before we even done anything. He used to come
15, 15, yep.
Yeah, and stay at the bed and breakfast in Ayr, so on Prestwick Road. And I met all the boys then. Actually, I was away playing, we'd come back, they'd be staying there, and there was always a bit of banter. So when I came to Castlereagh, it was hilarious. Sis looked after me, like there was, you know, it was just, at that time, everything was a wee bit different over there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was still a wee bit of the older days. Do you know, like, it was eye-opening. But Big Jamie, do you know, I loved it over there. And Sis was fantastic. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was great. He just liked to eat too much. That's all it was. And so did I, to be honest.
I didn't drink. I didn't drink back then. I just ate.
No, it was just eating. That wasn't even drinking. Just eating all the time.
Some things have never changed, mate. They've never changed.
But you were happy, so that's all right.
I'm still happy, mate. I'm still happy.
Fantastic. And then the other one is actually, unfortunately, a more serious note. Last year, you coached in Augsburg, and of course, you coached Adam Johnson.
Yeah.
What was he like?
Yeah, he's trying not to talk about this anymore. Adam was a really calm, laid back, really quiet. Like, he had elite speed and he could score goals, and he was just a great human being. I mean, he probably shouldn't even have been in this league. Do you know what I mean? Like, but he was the point of him being so laid back and such a nice person probably meant he was just enjoying life. Do you know what I mean? To come and see another country, and he got his MBA when he was coming to get his MBA and everything. But he was one of the kindest, nicest, easiest kids. You never really You don't have to say anything to him. You're trying to say hello to see if he's awake sometimes because he's so relaxed. Do you know what I mean? Just making sure he was okay. But he was lovely. Just a lovely person. Do you know, it was a tough week last week. Do you know what I mean? I was only there for 4 months I was there. I think 4.5 months, and he came in after a month. And, you know, it's hard. I've never experienced something like that before. It's hard, do you know, and you heard that news. And, you know, last week was a really stressful week because you just felt like you probably knew him more than I did. Do you know what I mean? That way. But I think the big thing to say is the amount of players from Augsburg that contacted me was insane. So it shows you what they guys thought of him. Do you know, to ask what happened, blah, blah, blah. And I really didn't have the answers. Do you know what I mean? And it's, I just hope out how do I say it? I just hope out a difficult situation that we find something good out of it in the end, if that makes sense. Because I think you can always find something good out of something in the end, and hopefully the hockey finds something good in the end out of it all moving forward. And I think that's the most important thing. That and his family are probably heartbroken, you know, and for sure. And I just think it's a really, 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 really tough situation. And I think you's probably felt it a little bit on Saturday night with that home game, and they done the tribute and everything. Like it's so tough, man. Like it's a horrible situation. Do you know what I mean? But I think again, the last thing is for everybody's family and the hockey in a whole, as long as something comes of it, better, something better from it in the end for everyone in the future, I think that would be a outcome.
Great words.
No better way to finish. Peter Russell, listen, we really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us and giving us so much of it. Of course, we don't wish you well on Saturday, but we wish you well going forward, except, you know, don't win the league. But thanks for joining us, buddy.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. See you later on.
Thanks,
Cheers,
Coach.
Pete.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
man.
Bye-bye.
Big thanks to Pete Russell. That was phenomenal. And the Adam Keefe, of course. That was good.
He's
crack.
a top lad. I mean, you know what? Thinking back to, again, we were 15, 16. When we went away with Castlereagh, we always stayed, not always, but a lot of the time we stayed in the St. Andrews Hotel in Ayr. And his mum and dad lived literally right across the street. But the breakfast his mum and dad put on was awesome. I was always in there, first click. As soon as the bus was stopped outside the hotel, straight across the road, here's me, that'll do me, thanks very much. And I've known him since he was a kid. Really great kid, really great lad. Comes from an unbelievable family. And I'm just glad he's doing so well. But I certainly won't be wishing him any luck for Cardiff against Belfast. I've no doubt that he's going to make them better. I've absolutely no doubt that he's going to make them into a winning team as well. But I'm just hoping it's going to be a little bit down the road.
Not just yet. Right, we're going to crack on as quick as we can. We have a few little things to wrap up this week's show. First of all, it's the time for the Player of the Month for October, sponsored by Phonacab. We asked you for your nominations, and we've drawn up a short list of 4. And the short list of 4 are number 3, Charlie Curdy. Number 26, Mark Cooper. Number 34, Tyler Beskorowany. And number 89, Kieran Long. We're going to open voting on Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. and voting will go all the way through until Saturday afternoon on Twitter at AVFTB. And from that, we will award the View from the Bridge Player of the Month for October, sponsored by Phonacab. Says, who are you choosing?
Kieran Long. I thought he's been brilliant this month. I mean, just showing Charlie Curdy on the screen there now, I think Charlie's been absolutely outstanding since he came in. I genuinely think Charlie Curdy's the best defenseman in the league. I've seen the majority of teams so far this year, well, one way or the other, whether it's on webcast or whether it's on live in the arena, and I think he's absolutely outstanding. But Kieran Long, 5 goals in 3 games in the middle of a month. 5 big goals for us at that time as well in Champions League and what have you. And I just think it sort of clicked into place with Oliver Cooper. Unfortunately, the news came out yesterday, Oliver Cooper's broke his arm. So he's going to be out for a little period of time. And I think Longer will miss him. You know, OC got into the corners, did the dirty work, got the puck out front and put it on a plate for Longer. So I think Longer might miss him. Hopefully we can find somebody else to do dirty work, and Longer just keeps on a hot streak. He's been absolutely brilliant in October, and my Player of the Month is Kieran Long.
David?
Yeah, look, hard to disagree with that. In a team sport, it's very difficult to single one guy out at any time, especially in a sort of in a game where line mates depend on each other. Simon's reference to Oliver Cooper there with Longer. You don't have Mark Cooper if you don't have Ben Lake. You don't have Charlie Curdy without Jacob Friend, and you don't have Besco being up there if you don't have guys diving in front, blocking shots to help him out. I think Besco was phenomenal through that October streak as well. But yeah, it's going to be Kieran Long for getting my vote this month. But honourable mention to every single one of them.
Yeah, clean sweep. My vote's going for Longer as well. I think, like you say, you can give a really good case for all four of those lads. I think they've all been phenomenal. But I think you look at that scoring streak that Longer had through those games in the Champions Hockey League and the games after, and then you also look at a good goal there on Sunday. But yeah, I think Longer deserves this, and that's where my vote is going to go. Like I say, voting will open on Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. at AVFTB on Twitter. Cast your vote, and it'll hopefully be handed out on Saturday after the game against the Cardiff Devils. That's the View from the Bridge Player of the Month for October. Big thanks to Fonacab, as always.
Can I just throw something in, Paddy?
Go on.
I think what the arena have done, I know Lisa is heavily behind it, Lisa McNally and Laura and everybody put together the sign language for the numbers for the players and
it's good.
The quotes. It's absolutely brilliant. You see it in the screens in the arena when it's just as what you just showed there now. I love it. I absolutely love it. That's something that I've thought about doing before, just never get around to it. Jasmine can do the alphabet and she can do numbers. Well, most of the numbers anyway. I just think it's a really, really good addition to our game night and to our screens and to our webcasts and stuff as well. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, here.
I'll put my dad hat on. We teach our kids French, German, Italian, Spanish, and all. Great, absolutely brilliant. The first language our kids should learn after English is sign language.
I fully agree.
So,
and this might be a stupid question. Is sign language the same for all languages? It's not, so it's different, right?
It's
okay.
No, it's not.
Slightly.
But it's still well worth learning. It's still 100% worth learning, and given the accessibility issues and stuff like that. But I fully agree, Davey. Fully agree with that. And well done to the Giants on leading the way on that. Well, Davey, you down to 3% on your battery?
3% is about to go up quick.
Right. Sis might drop out any minute. So listen, I was going to go through the league news, but I'm not, because there was only one dominant issue. Obviously, you can go to the game centre and find out who won and who beat. I think there was only one home team that won this week, and it was a 4-point weekend for the Guildford Flames. One other thing to mention is, of course, the Friendship 4 was announced last week, and you can go and see our special with Notre Dame, Merrimack College, Boston Union, Harvard are the 4 teams that have been announced, and we had a great special last week chatting to the likes of Rob Fitzpatrick, Steve Thornton, of course, Joe Britannia, and Jeff Baum. You can get that on our all known places, YouTube, Facebook, and podcast providers. This weekend's games: Giants versus the Devils, Saturday at 7 p.m. at the SSE Arena and on Giants TV, and then we are over to the Spectrum in Surrey to face the Guildford Flames Sunday 6 p.m. and that's on Flames TV. Any other business? Simon, go.
I have quick. The Munster Dash is on this Saturday. It was obviously the cancelled game of 10 days ago. So Robert Fitzpatrick, Paul McMahon, and quite a few of the players, and Laura and a few others are going to be on the bikes on the bridge at the front of the arena on the way in for the first 45 minutes or so, and then up on the bridge for the rest of however long it takes them doing the cycle. And Jackie Gendron is doing a bracelet making station on the bridge on Saturday afternoon, or Saturday before the game, and in between the periods as well. And the monies will be raised going to a couple of different charities. So that's me.
David.
Margaret Patterson, Paddy, got the name right?
Margaret Shaw, wasn't it?
Margaret Shaw. Sorry about that, Margaret. Margaret, this is get well soon and a happy birthday, but I'm not exactly sure whether it's your birthday or not. I hear you're in hospital having a shoulder operation. If it is your birthday at the same time, happy birthday. If we've missed your birthday, belated birthday. And if it's not your birthday yet, play this when it is your birthday and happy birthday. But get well soon. Hope your shoulder heals up really well.
Here. That's it, gentlemen. I think that's what has been a heartbreaking lead up to the show. I think, big thanks to everybody who's been watching. Big thanks to Adam Keefe, Travis Bowen, and to Pete Russell, of course, for coming on. It's been one of those weeks and a couple of weeks where we have had to come together as hockey fans, and I think it's been something to be proud of. As Sis also attests to, the fact that the Elite League and all the organisations involved should be very proud of themselves about the way how they've paid tribute and how they've handled everything that has happened in the last week or so. And it's certainly something that the fans have reflected, and certainly something that brings us together as a community with regards to this great league. The games for the Belfast Giants Saturday, 7 p.m. at the SSE Arena against the Cardiff Devils. You can get yourself down there, and if you can't get down there, Giants TV with Mr. Kitchen. And then the Flames away at the Spectrum Sunday at 6 p.m. and you get that on Flames TV. David, Simon, Gareth, whoever you are, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Patrick.
And you can get us on Twitter, YouTube, all the normal places, and wherever you are this weekend. We hope you enjoy your hockey, and we'll catch you here next time on A View from the Bridge.